going on, everybody? My name is Erik Montague.
And I'm Leah Young.
And we are muted.
We're supposed to be because we're wearing microphones.
That's right. This is how we deal with live stuff. Welcome to the Spring Fundraiser for Experience Theater Project.
Live from the Golden Valley Brewing in Beaverton, Oregon.
That's right. And we are here tonight to hopefully raise up to $10,000 for Experience Theater Project to do our summer You are hopefully all here, and also we have a small party in our COVID-friendly place here in Golden Valley Brewing. We are going to try to get $10,000, and we have a ticker that you can see right here.
Keeping track of the money we've raised, there's two ways you can donate. Text Experience This to 44321 or visit our website, experiencetheaterproject.org, and that's theater with an R-E. Click the donate button.
Yep. Now, on top of that, tonight, besides us, we are going to be seeing some amazing talent. We're going to be seeing the history of Experience Theater Project as well. And we'll also be hearing in from our artistic director, Alisa Stewart. And so it's going to be a fun show for y'all today. I want to make sure that we can get that $10,000. Please help out as much as you can.
As you donate, there will be opportunities to win fabulous prizes.
Yes, and we do have our mystery bags here as well. And if we'll be finding about that in a little bit here. But before we get into that, we want to tell you about the history of Experience Theater Project. So without further ado, please enjoy the first part of the history of Experience Theater Project. Take it away.
I'm Alisa Stewart. I'm the Experience Theater Project Artistic Director. I grew up in Alaska, participated in theater in high school. I ended up going to Oregon State University. I attended the theater program there. It was a lovely program. I got a BA in acting with directing emphasis. And from there, I got an internship at the Steppenwolf Theater Company in Chicago. I ended up just working a lot in theater with one foot in theater and one foot in doing other daytime activities to try and pay the bills, pay the rent. I attended Columbia College to take theater administration courses because it was always a dream of mine to be an artistic director. I started a band in Chicago and I started playing out with them, so I started really enjoying music. I was already a composer, player, and so then I went from Chicago to Portland because it just felt like I wanted to get back to the Pacific Northwest. It's my favorite place to be. I did a lot of music. You ain't got no right to be happy. No right to be pleased. 'Cause any kind of real man knows just what this woman needs. So if you're done with your loving, baby, I think it's time you're moving on. Moving on. Moving on. For too many years you've been coming to my door, watching my TV, leaving empties on the floor. Want someone to love me, baby, yeah, not treat me like no dog. Quite that dog's tail. So if you're done with your loving, baby, I think it's time you're moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Well, I guess you think I'm lucky that you ain't been cheating none. Well, at least if you were cheating, then one of us would be getting some. thought I wanted to be a rock star, but I realized it just wasn't the kind of life I really wanted. And I started a business that I ended up meeting Leah Young at. It's called the Hammerhead Quiz Show.
Well, I'm Leah Young, founding member of Experience Theater Project. And since I was about 3 or 4 years old, I knew I wanted to be a singing, acting, dancing scientist. I've always been an Oregon girl. I grew up in Cottage Grove, Oregon, a small town just south of Eugene. I came to the Portland area for college. I had the pleasure of doing murder mystery dinner theater with the incomparably funny Amy Milshtein. And she was doing this project called the Hammerhead Quiz Show. Their ingenue type character, their young lady, was struggling to get to rehearsal on time. In the last moment, she just dropped out of the production altogether. Amy says, I know someone who can fit that dress. And sure enough, I could fit the dress. And more than that, I think fill the personality that Alisa was looking for in that character. But once she started working with me, she just couldn't stop.
And we had so much fun. It was a blast, and thus, created our friendship, and we kept in touch even after I sold the company. Well, Leah and I attended an amazing show at Shaking the Tree Theater. It was called Mask of the Red Death.
There was a spark that was lit. I could like feel the muse in the room with us, where we just knew we had to create art like this, art that was 360, theater that went beyond a proscenium wall.
I couldn't get it out of my system. It was something that was so fresh and so new and so wonderful. And starting a theater company that was just a theater company because we want to do shows was not ever something that was in my mind.
About 2 weeks later, she said, hey Leah, do you want to make a company with me? A company that specializes in immersive theater?
Hello, I am local visual artist Razia Roshan, and I want to give a shout out to Experience Theater Project. I've worked with them over the years doing different props and different backdrops, and I am inviting you here to my own home studio where you are getting to see some of my work. But I want to give a lot of credit to the theater and many of the other hands behind the scenes who create so many of their different venues and site-specific projects. And I really hope that you get to come out this summer for their Shakespeare Festival. Please support the way that you can in any meaningful way, because it really does support us behind the scenes, the other visual artists and actors and different stage crew. So a big shout out to Experience Theater Project here in Beaverton, Oregon.
Hello, ETP friends. Thanks for joining me. My name's Lalaine Yagun. I've done 4 shows with Experience Theater Project. They don't always do musicals, but they do incorporate a lot of music into some of their productions, which I find really fascinating. So I thought that I would share some of my vocal stylings with you that have inspired me from a couple of shows that I've done with Experience Theater Project. One show I did was a fundraising event called The Witching Hour. So it was kind of this really fun devised work where the actors and director got together and sort of created this experience. And the premise was that it was a talk show where the host interviewed famous witches throughout history and film. So it had the Wicked Witch of the West, Bellatrix the Strange, Morgana, and the Witch from Into the Woods. And I played the Witch from Into the Woods. So it's kind of this like crazy sort of fun show where the witches got together and sort of talked about their backstories, and then a wizard takes them over and they have to try and work together to sort of thwart the evil that has taken them over. It was just a really fascinating work because we sort of got to see a lot of the backstory that we created for these characters, that maybe their evilness is backed by something a little bit more substantial, and they're, hurt and pain. Which is also kind of the witch from Into the Woods. Her character is very much like that in the show itself. She's an amalgamation of all the fairy tale witches in folklore, and in the show Into the Woods, she does really bad things, but for a good reason, because she's trying to protect her daughter. So it's sort of this really, interesting character to sort of see maybe the things that we do for the, the bad things we do are for the right reasons. So I thought that I would share her song "Stay With Me" from the show that sort of gives you a little history of who she is.
What did I clearly say? Children should listen. What were you not to do? Children must see and learn. Why could you not obey? Children should listen. What have I been to you? What would you have me be? Handsome like a prince. Oh, but I am old, I am ugly, I embarrass you. You are ashamed of me. You are ashamed. You don't understand. Don't you know what's out there in the world? Someone has to shield you from the world. Stay with me. Princes wait out in the world, it's true. Princes, yes, but wolves and humans too. Stay at home. I am home. Who out there could love you more than I? What out there that I could not supply? Stay with me. Stay with me. The world is dark and wild. Stay a child while you can be a child. With me.
Titus, I have come to talk with thee. Though if thou didst know me, thou wouldst talk with me. Know thou, sad man, I am not Timora. She is thy enemy. I am thy friend. I am revenge. Sent from the infernal kingdom to ease the gnawing vulture of thy mind, by working wreakful vengeance on thy foes. Come, invite me into this world's light. Confer with me of murder and death. There is no hollow cave or lurking place, no vast obscurity or misty veil where bloody murder or detested rape can couch for fear. For I will find them, and in their very ears whisper my dreaded name, revenge, and makes the foul offender quake.
Hello everyone, my name is Amber Green and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much to Alisa and Experience Theater Project for inviting me to be a part of this show. Growing up, I was very much influenced by the likes of Lucille Ball and Carol Burnett, and so this is my homage to Carol Burnett. I'm going to be doing Mrs. Hannigan's Little Girls from Annie. Little girls, everywhere I turn, I can see them. Little girls, every night and day I eat and sleep and breathe them. I'm an ordinary woman with feelings. I like a man to nibble on my ear, but I'll admit, no man has bet. So how come I'm the mother of the year? How I hate little shoes, little socks, and every little bloomer. I'd have cracked years ago if it weren't for my sense of humor. Some women are dripping with diamonds. Some women are dripping with pearls. Lucky me, look at what I'm dripping with. Little girls. Oh. 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 Little cheeks, everything around me is little. If I wring a little neck, surely I will get an acquittal. Someday I'll step on their freckles. Someday I'll straighten their curls. Send a flood, send a flu, anything that you can do to little girls. Someday I'll land in the nut house with all the nut and the squirrel. Till that day tucked away, till the prohibition of little girl. Thanks for watching.
Intimate VIP audience, and we thank you for joining us at our ETP fundraiser. You just heard the hilarious Amber Green as Miss Hannigan. Erik, do you know why I think she's so surly, Miss Hannigan?
Why is that, Leah?
Because she doesn't have friends.
Ooh, well, I think we should definitely fix that. If you have friends, you should invite them to come see this right now. We've already gotten 29 people. Look at we even got a $26 donation just a few seconds ago. That's fantastic.
You can join us on Facebook live streaming, our experiencetheaterproject.org. That's theater with an RE.org. Or
YouTube.
Live streaming through YouTube.
And if you donate right now, everybody who donates today gets
opportunity to win one of our mystery bags.
That is right. And if you donate at the right time for the person at the performance of the person who has been in the most experienced theater project shows, you get entered in to win in this one. And the person who donates the most tonight will win the big old grand prize as well. So please donate. Let's see if we can't get to 5,000 by, let's say, 8 o'clock. Let's see if we can't get to 5,000 by 8 o'clock. That's a good goal, right?
What would that money go towards?
I don't know.
About a $20 donation could purchase one of our props for our upcoming The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged.
A $50 donation could help us get a costume ready.
And a $100 donation could pay a performer for one day performing at the Westside Shakespeare Festival this July 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Remember, we have to get back the arts in our community here in Beaverton, Oregon. So, ladies and gentlemen, support Experience Theater Project. Thank you so much. And here's our next part of our story.
Our ETP story. We were young and didn't know what we were getting into. I felt I've always brought a vitality to this company where Alisa will dream the big dreams and start from the dream and build down to this mortal world. And together we've just collaborated to create this company that has built so many fantastical dreams out of the world around us.
The first year we were in business, well, we didn't have any money. We had some money, but one of the board members at the time said, you know what, let's do some kids camps, because kids camps will allow us to, be introduced to the community. And so the board member had said, yes, I will help with this effort. We got things underway. We had kids enrolled. We had teachers in place. We did all of that. And then she left the state.
And at the end of the day, I knew I wanted this company to succeed. So I forewent most of my pay so that we could pay the teachers. And stay viable in that sense. And yes, I did work my summer job on the Portland Spirit that year.
And we were left going, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? So we made the kids camp work. I'm amazed that we made the kids camp work. All of us pitched in.
Okay.
Wizard.
Goblin beats wizard.
No, I was a wizard.
And just made the kids happy. We had all sorts of different kinds of kids camp themes. So, they were having, the kids were having a great time. In the end, we still didn't have a lot of money to get out there and produce shows. After we did the kids camps and we decided, we need to have some nightlife going on in Beaverton. Let's make it a little more interesting. And so that's when we decided to do the comedy at Brandon's. And Brandon's was a short-lived beer place. But they were going to have us as a monthly comedy show, and that was going to be great. And then it closed, and then we tried to move up to the Bethany Public House, and then it was not working. It was too far away.
How long will I slide, separate my side? I don't believe it's bad. Slit my throat, it's all I ever. I heard your voice through a photograph. I thought it up, knotted up the past. Once you know you can never go back, I gotta take it on the other side. Centuries of what it meant to me. A cemetery where I marry the sea. Stranger things never change my mind. I gotta take it on the other side. Take it on the other side. Take it on. Take it on. How long will I slide? Separate slid my side. I don't believe it's bad. Slit my throat, it's all I ever. Pour my life into a paper cup. The extra's full, I'm spilling my guts. She wants to know am I still a slut. I gotta take it on the other side. Scarlet, and she's in my bed. The candidate boys saw me bled. I push the trigger and I pull the thread. I gotta take it on the other side. Take it on the other side. Take it on. Take it on. How long will I slide? Separate my side. I don't believe it's bad. Slit my throat, it's all I ever. Turn me on, take me for a hard ride. Burn me out, leave me on the other side. I yell and tell it that it's not my friend. I tear it down, and then it's born again. How long will I slide? Separate my side. I don't believe it's bad. Slit my throat, it's all I ever. I don't believe it's bad. I slit my throat, it's all I ever.
Good, Anakin, good. Kill him. Kill him now.
I shouldn't!
Do it.
Sauron has regained much of his former strength. He cannot yet take physical form, but his spirit has lost none of its potency. Sealed within his fortress, the Lord of Mordor sees all. His gaze pierces cloud, shadow, earth, and flesh. You know of what I speak, Gandalf. Great eye, lidless, wreathed in flame. Why, if it isn't my big brother descending from on high to mingle with the commoners? So Robbie and I didn't see you at the presentation of Simba. That was today. Oh, I feel simply awful. Must have slipped my mind.
Yes, well, as slippery as your mind is, as the king's brother, you should have been first in line.
Well, I was first in line, until the little hairball came along.
That hairball is my son and your future king.
Oh, I shall practice my curtsy.
The dude abides. I don't know about you, but I take comfort in that. It's good knowing he's out there, the dude, taking her easy for all us sinners. Shush.
I sure hope he makes the finals. Well, that about does her. Wraps it all up.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it.
Sha-la-la-la-la-la.
This is how we do it.
What could have been more fun than to have been part of the 2019 summer theater production for Experience Theater of Comedy of Errors? A great cast, wonderful audiences, a marvelous production company, and an innovative approach to Shakespeare. It was a wonderful experience. I was so grateful to be part of this cast.
Oh man, Gray's impersonations were so good. I was laughing the entire time. And Heidi with those harmonies. Oh my gosh, we have so much talent.
They are power couple, the Davises.
And on top of that, we are now up to 50. A new goal, $6,500 by, let's say, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
But before that, let's tune in to our friend and also artistic director, Alisa, because she's got a note for us as well. Alisa,
Live doing tech.
That's right. Take it away.
Yeah, hi guys. It's a great night for a live stream fundraising program. We sure appreciate you tuning in. Alisa here with Experience, and of course I'm working the show backstage, running it from my home, or what we call Tech Central, because I'm streaming everything from this little board here, my dual screens. It's interesting that we can be in two places at once. It's really a great, weird, miraculous thing of technology. Anyway, everything we're doing tonight, it's all live, it's all here, and we're running the show. Forgive me if we run into any glitches along the way. That's live streaming for you. Well, we got some great talent. I'll be working on some talent here and accompanying somebody with their performances, so stick around. I hope you enjoy the show. Take it away. Back to you, Leah and Erik.
It is kind of strange that we can be here all at once and yet be elsewhere, but that's
at Golden Valley, at Alisa's home, from your friend's home. Be sure to invite everyone to tune in right now and join in the giving to support this fantastic immersive theater project.
In just a little bit of time, we've already raised over $1,000. Let's see if we can get more. And everybody, we've got even more in store for you tonight, more talent and more of our story. That's right, we've got that. And also, we just want to say a big thank you to Alisa. Thank you for everything that you're doing. And now, let's continue on with Experience Theater Project's story.
ETP's first play was A Midsummer Night's Dream. We needed a place to put it on. The Round, which is where we wanted to perform the show. Finally, we were able to put it out there, and what was important to me was that it was beautiful looking, so that people who didn't know what was happening could just see it and go, whoa, that looks really cool. What is that? It really needed to be accessible by families. It needed to be free. And so we got a grant from amazing, awesome Beaverton. We also got a grant from Beaverton Arts Commission. At the time, we were really learning about what worked and what didn't.
Yeah. Good morning, Kim. We are back once again here with the members of the Experience Theater Group. Good morning, guys. How are you once again?
Great.
Fantastic.
Good.
So they're a new immersive theater company. They're actually Beaverton's only professional theater company.
When I came and saw it, it was breathtakingly beautiful. The colors, the whimsy. There was a stellar cast. Mickey Jordan as Bottom, Sarah Faye Goldman as Titania, Maureen Kennedy as Oberon. So top-notch talent. Midsummer was just accessible. You could watch it and enjoy the tale and be taken to a place of whimsy and fancy. And I felt really proud to be bringing this culture and arts to Beaverton.
Oh, people loved it. I mean, even we had given people sort of offering envelopes and stuck them inside the programs to say, mail us a donation later if you find the time, and they did. For months after that, we got a lot of donations. It was still barely enough to break even. We decided we wanted to do a fundraiser in October. It seemed like a good time for it. What happens in there? Halloween. What can we do to make it a fun little Halloween show?
A Gothic horror night was the first time Experience Theater had that experience.
Hey, let's do ghost stories and let's have some great talented actors to perform these ghost stories. In order to make the event a little immersive, we were telling people that you're coming into a space where the writers have been resurrected for the night to tell their stories.
It was dark and sophisticated. It was intellectual but still accessible. I played the character of Emily Bronte, and so I did a reading of Emily's work where the summer Shakespeare was light and refreshing. The autumn fundraiser was darker and a little primal in that sense.
Bust above my door, take thy beat from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore.
And it was a lot of fun until one of the actors who I had to actually, me as the host, to shut him up, had to attack him with a prop knife and slit his throat, and he was going to grab his throat and blood would be everywhere and he'd fall dead, and then we ended the story on that note. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite break the blood bag, and it spurted. He turned around to mask his efforts, and it splurted all over the restaurant's like custom curtains. And so we had to replace the curtains, and that pretty much ate up all of the profit that we had made for the event. So we got through our first year completely in the black, never went into debt for any of it, so that was a sense of pride for me.
Hi, my name is Sean Hennessy. I played Theseus in Experience Theater Project's Midsummer Night's Dream, and here is Graziano from Merchant of Venice. Let me play the fool. With mirth and laughter, let old wrinkles come, and let my liver rather heat with wine than cool with mortifying groans. Why should a man whose blood is warm within sit like his grandsire cut in alabaster? Sleep and he wakes, and creep into jaundice by being peevish? I tell thee what, Antonio, I love thee, and 'tis my love that speaks. There are a sort of men whose visages do cream and mantle like a standing pond, and do a wilful stillness entertain, with purpose of being dressed in an opinion of wisdom, gravity, profound conceit, as who should say, I am Sir Oracle, when I open my lips let no dog bark. Oh, my Antonio, I do know of these that therefore only are reputed wise for saying nothing, when I'm very sure that if they should speak, would almost damn those ears which hearing them would call their brothers fools. Thank you.
it is I, Marin Kennedy, actor you may have seen in things. Alisa of Experienced Theater Project asked me to do a little something special, to show a skill I might have, to encourage you to empty your pockets, well, not empty your pockets, to give a little something off the top, skim off the top, the cream off the top, if you will, to help us entertain you for this summer and beyond. I thought, well, what can I do? I'm not someone who's really great at any one thing. I looked at my special skills section of my resume, and it said I can juggle. So I have some apples to juggle, and I can skateboard a little bit. I have a skateboard, and of course I can act. I can do a monologue. I can do Shakespeare. So I thought, well, any one of those things I can't do great, you know. But if I combine them into one thing, if I do all of them, that might encourage you to give a little something. So here we go. I'm going to be doing Benedict from Much Ado About Nothing while I stand on. Oh boy. Here we go. This can be no this approach.
Oh, you just heard and saw the very talented Marin Kennedy, who will be one of our featured performers in Shakespeare, the complete works of William Shakespeare Abridged this summer. Yeah, wow, we have some talent in the house. And to have such great talent, we need support. That support comes from your generous donations. Remember, there's two ways you can donate. Text "experience this" to 44321, or visit our website, experiencetheaterproject.org, and that's theater with an R-E. Click the donate button.
Hey, Leah.
Yeah, Eric?
I think we actually have to give a prize away. And wait a minute, you're the top person right there. You're not getting a prize. You're hosting this thing.
Oh.
So, Angela Arrington, you are our first winner of a mystery bag tonight. Congratulations with that, Angela Arrington.
Mystery of mysteries.
That's right. And for the next 30 minutes, Experienced Theater Project board members are going to be matching the donations that are sent in for the next 30 minutes from about 7:45 to 8:15 up to $1,000. Let's see that money go up. I don't even know where that money is right now, but we're going to hopefully get to 10,000 tonight. So with
donate
that,
now.
more of ETP's story.
The first fundraiser did not raise funds. It was fun, and we realized that, you know, hey, we suck at fundraising. We should really do a better job next time.
In the spring of 2017, we did a fun community building spring fundraiser that was a bit of a brainchild of mine, the Bard's Birthday Bash, gearing up for our next summer Shakespeare, and it was generously hosted by Golden Valley Brewing. They have been a supporter of this company since we got started. They generously donated their space and several hors d'oeuvres, as well as some of their fresh brewed beer. We had games that were Shakespearean, some crafts that were in the steampunk style, and we had a person playing William Shakespeare himself.
A family-friendly event that will celebrate whatever the show is that we decided to do for summer. I had picked The Tempest, and we decided to also make it a steampunk event. So we invited Charles Mason III from the steampunk show to come join us and make the set piece that would be the centerpiece of The Tempest. And he made this giant steaming teapot that was incredible to watch. It turned on and off during the show.
We built a Tempest in a teapot. There was magic. Our characters performed sleight of hand. The costumes, they were so intriguing and modern, but with that steampunk twist. I remember sitting in Alisa's garage helping assemble the leading lady's hoop skirt. It was made of metal siding. I can only imagine that she got it to Home Depot.
And for the first time, our company got recognized because we were nominated for 2 Broadway World Awards for Best Costumes and for Best Show. People loved it. Everyone was so excited about the steampunk aspect of it. Kids loved it. So it was a very merry show and a lot of fun, very magical.
Alisa often has a muse that speaks to her. I imagine instead of a devil and an angel on her shoulder, she has a Grecian muse who whispers creative nothings into her ear.
In the autumn of 2017, we had the War of the Worlds. We decided to, again, try to bring some immersion to it in that we were telling guests that when they walked through the door, they would be entering 1930s period where they actually did the first War of the Worlds reading. Live Foley and sound effects and actors reading this as if we were living it for the first time. We had this great moon, it was called a paper moon, and you could sit on a bench and get your picture taken in front of this beautiful moon, and it was created by Razier Roshan, and she is a remarkable painter. That particular show sold out, and so we were very happy with the result. People really enjoyed it. We made a little bit of money that night, but still not a heck of a lot, not as much as we would have liked, but again, the show itself was a lot of fun. Well, at the end of World of Worlds, it just felt like it was time. It was time to get inside. It was time to create something truly immersive.
Welcome to Agnes's Cannibal Kitchen. I am Agnes, the cannibal hag.
And I...
Quiet, Mudford. My doctor said that, for the sake of my black heart, I need to lay off the cholesterol and stop eating children. So, to aid any other hags like me who need a change of diet, and trust me, I know how hard it can be to change after 300 years.
Oh, Mum, you don't look a day over 250.
Quiet, Mudford. Where was I? Ah, yes. I thought I would show you some child-free options of my favorite dishes. Tonight, we will start with an old classic 2-child stew. Child-free, of course. First, you must gather your ingredients. Lamb ribs.
Lamb ribs?
Eye of newt.
Eye of newt.
A flask of olive oil. Carrots. Ginger.
Oh, ginger.
Cloves of garlic.
Garlic.
Herbs fresh from the garden. Stop that. 2 onions. A crock of butter. And a child's shoe. Just because we're not eating children doesn't mean we can't enjoy ourselves a little flavor.
Oh, shoe.
To prep the stew, chop your ingredients down to bite-sized pieces. Go. Okay. There you are. Bite-sized pieces ready for you to eat. Cut the carrots small for some spots of color. Garlic. Crush the garlic. And the eye of newt. And the most important part is the meat. For my child substitute today, I have chosen a side of lamb, as it still has a quality of youth about it. Find the ribs and chop between them with your cleaver. I personally like to leave the bones in for added flavor and crunch. And put all your ingredients in the pot and stir in the light of the moon, preferably a waning gibbous. Of course, you need not do this yourself. Mudford.
Oh, yes, Agnes.
Stir the stew.
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. What do you do with a drunken spriggan? What do you do with a drunken spriggan? What do you do with a spriggan early in the morning? Put him in a box and feed him donuts. Put him in a box and feed him donuts. Put him in a box and feed him donuts. Oh, that's quite delicious. Soup's on.
What?
All right, Agnes, let me get you some.
There you are. 2 child stew. Child free. Delicious. Well, that's all the time we have for today, my darlings. But join us next month for another Agnes's Cannibal Kitchen. Say goodbye, Mudford.
Goodbye, Mudford.
No. Goodbye.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Are you ready, Prince? Cindy? Evil stepmother? All right, fellas, let's go! It's been getting so hard, living with the things you do to me. My dreams are getting so strange. I'd like to tell you everything I see. Oh, I see a man on the back. As a matter of fact, his eyes are as red as the sun. And a girl in the corner let no one ignore, cause she thinks she's the passionate one. Oh, yeah, it was like lightning. Everybody was frightening. And the music was soothing. And they all started grooving. Barroom blitz, and the girl in the corner said, boy, I don't want it, it'll turn into a barroom blitz, barroom blitz, a barroom blitz, a barroom blitz, a barroom blitz. Oh, I'm reaching out for something, touching nothing's all I ever do. I softly call you over. When you appear, there's nothing left to do. Now the man in the back is ready to crack as he raises his hands to the sky. And the girl in the corner is everyone's more. She can kill you with the wink of her eye. Oh, yeah, it was electric. So frankly hectic. And the men started leaving, cause they all stopped breathing. And the man in the back said, everyone attack, and it turned into a barroom blitz. And the girl in the corner said, boy, I don't want it, it'll turn into a barroom blitz. Barroom blitz. Okay. Oh, yeah, it was like lightning. Everybody was frightening. And the music was soothing. And they all started grooving. Yeah. And the man in the back said, everyone attack, and it turned into a barroom blitz. And the girl in the corner said, boy, I want it, it'll turn into a barroom blitz. Barroom blitz. A barroom blitz. A barroom blitz. A barroom blitz. It's a barroom blitz. It's a barroom blitz. It's a barroom blitz. Yeah, it's a barroom blitz. Barroom Blitz, Barroom Blitz. I have no idea who that guy was performing, but he was handsome and amazing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked it too.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yes, hello again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Erik Montague, totally not related to that guy.
And I'm Leah Young. We're here raising money for Experience Theater Project, here live at Golden Valley Brewery in Beaverton, Oregon.
That's right, and we are going to...
Hi again, everybody. Alisa here over at ETP Tech Central. We're really happy that you've joined us tonight. We can't be prouder of the work we have done and what the work we have in front of us. I mean, just some really great storytelling, some really great talent, as you've seen so far. I mean, we're really fortunate to have the people on board that actually bring you the arts, but we can't do this without your support tonight. So if you could please dig deep, what you will actually be able to do is enable us to bring you this beautiful live theater programming. I mean, where's the world without live art, live theater? I mean, what we create is an experience for you to walk into and be inside the story. That is our focus. That is what we want to do and want to continue to bring to you. But we do have costs involved with this. We do have set pieces that we have to build and paint. We have costumes that we need to construct and design and bring those out to the forefront. We also want to pay our actors, of course, our performers. They are the lifeblood of live performing arts, obviously. And we've got some great stories to tell you in the coming months and next winter as well, when we hope to be all live in one place, in person once again. Hopefully by then we won't have to wear a mask. Wouldn't that be nice? But please think about what you can do for us today. Every $10 helps us build this program and keep us afloat and keep things moving alive and forward. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
I decided that we needed to pick a play that was known, that we could do in one space, that would be interesting for the audience members to watch, and that we could hold them there for the course of the show to sort of a simple first foray into live immersive theater.
Mousetrap was our first fully immersive production.
You walked through a hallway and then walked into this 1950 Monkwell Manor house that you are now in the house, and whatever was going on there was the period. So you really felt like you were in this period when you were there.
It needed to look good from 5 inches away.
You ensure that their seats are comfortable, that they have what they need, that they can have a drink if they want, they can eat some food if they want, creating packages that we could have for date nights, things that really it went kind of above and beyond what the play was.
See that Christopher Wren looks older than his years and your husband looks younger. In our actual age.
At intermission, I would come by and present the guests with an assortment of cakes to choose from, and really just brought that pampered experience.
When we did our advertising for Mousetrap, we were lucky enough to capture the eye of KPTV12, who came out and did a great story on our show.
The Mousetrap is their latest experiment in what they call immersive theater. Alisa Stewart's with us right now. And so the idea is most plays, when you go to a play, you sit there in the audience, the actors are up on stage. In this case, you're actually putting the audience on stage, so to speak, but the whole, to quote Shakespeare, the world is a stage, I guess, right? Yes. Explain to us kind of how you put on a show like this.
Well, you come into the house through a hallway that kind of brings you from the outside world into our world, as if you've traveled back in time to 1952, 1953-ish, to an old-fashioned manor house. This is the guest house. You take a seat on the set. So this is all authentic, old, antique furniture, and you actually are seated with the actors who are performing just inches away from you. Which really gave us a bump. Suddenly people are going, what's Experience Theater Project? What is this thing? So that was a great bump. Once Mousetrap was ending, although we did pretty well in the box office, we were still trying to find that sweet spot of a price point. As our third Shakespeare show, the Me Too movement was very strong, and so we decided, you know what would be good is to do an interesting take on The Taming of the Shrew. We needed somebody in this driver's seat that was really going to take this project and run with it. So I tapped Sarah Faye Goldman, who had played Titania in our Midsummer Night's Dream.
I really loved our rendition of Taming and the Shrew. It's a problematic script. And Sarah Fay created this adaptation that made it downright feminist. The performers were so vivacious in their telling of it.
Shencio slipped me like his greyhound, which runs himself and catches for his master.
And it made for a very interesting show, and we were lucky enough to get a couple of grants for that show, and it really sung in terms of a good, interesting new take on the whole work. And also, The Rise of Houdini is my favorite fall event so far because of the fact that we were able to create like a miniature devised story in just a few weeks. Let's have our good friend Professor Schreiber come in, do a magic show, claim that he is resurrecting Houdini, have a plant in the audience that says you're full of it, and then have him possess an audience member. Even had audience members booing our actor in the audience because they actually thought he was really heckling our actor and really being invasive. And actually one guy, I think, even said, "You shut up or I'm gonna punch you," or something like that. It was so funny. People didn't know what was gonna happen next. And then we had sort of a ghost hunters sort of resolution to it all, where we had a woman come in and cast out the ghosts and the demons that had been brought in during the show, and we had a camera crew following her like she was on a ghost show, and it was so fun, and I was so pleased.
Well, treat me like a fool, treat me mean and cruel, but love me. Take my beating heart, tear it all apart, but love me. Well, if you ever go, darling, I'll be oh, so lonely. I'll be sad and blue, crying over you, dear only. I will beg and steal, just to feel your heart a beating close to mine. Well, if you ever go, darling, I'll be oh, so lonely. I'll be sad and blue, crying over you, dear only. Oh, I will beg and steal, oh, just to feel your heart beating close to mine. Well, if you ever go, baby, I'll be oh, so lonely. I'll be on my knees, begging, baby, please, please love me.
Appeasement. A monologue, written and performed by Janice Moss. What I don't understand, Dad, is why you threw my sister out of the house for wearing a crucifix around her neck. I get you were Jewish, but Mom wasn't. She was Protestant. The only thing you ever did Jewish was to have bagels and lox on Sundays. We named the dog Bagels, for God's sake, because we got him on a Sunday. You never took us to synagogue. We never did Hanukkah. We always did Christmas. You never did one thing religious. Left it up to us to explore religion for ourselves. Same with Mom. The only reason she did Christmas was because that's what everybody else was doing. But war broke out when she walked in with a JC necklace. You spat on her, exiled her. So she ran off to join a commune, where she found a family. And then you condemned her for that. At least she was 18 when she left. I was only 16. You two never spoke again. Then Mom left you. The bitterness took you over. I couldn't open your eyes to make you see. You just got sadder and sadder, engulfed in self-pity, until you died alone. OD'd on society's prescription drugs, the acceptable way to abuse drugs, society's regulated drug ring. Which percentage are greater, prescription drug deaths or the illegal drug deaths? Probably the illegal ones, but not from using the drugs. She didn't come to your funeral. She said in her cold, matter-of-fact way, I had nothing to say to him when he was alive, so what's the point? She came back after you died, left the commune after 25 years, and was dead within 2. She's just a few feet away. I told Mom not to put you guys so close, but hard-headed Mom always has her own agenda. Well, the weather's been atrocious since Sis took up residence here with you. It's been raining non-stop. I'm building an ark. Is it because you two are still feuding? Well, if it is, knock it off. Get over it. Make peace already. I thought when we all meet on the other side, all our differences melt away. All the petty imposed rules society forces on us to control the masses with fear are washed away. Let it go. I'll tell you what, Dad. I'm looking for a good theatrical agent, and you are one of the best. Why don't you set up some opportunities for me down here? It'll keep you busy and earn you some good karmic points. And you, my dear Sis, who chose the Celtic Jew connection. You were my mentor, my rock of logic and wisdom. An old and wise soul. Watch over me, would you?
What makes ETP unique is in their name, Experience Theater. I think that they truly focus on trying to get as much of the public exposed to and experiencing the joy of theater as possible. And I think they really have succeeded in their mission to do that to the benefit of the community. I think that they do that in a number of ways, and I think that one of their successful approaches is that they really try to reach out in a number of different media styles, Shakespeare, classical plays, comedies, noir, and also across different types of delivery platforms, like doing a Zoom production during the summer of 2020, doing shows that use revolving sets. So I think they use multimedia, they use different approaches, and they really keep it interesting and fun, which I think is essential to drawing in an audience. ETP has certainly benefited me personally as a performer, clearly having gotten to do shows with ETP, which has been a joy. But I think the bigger way it's supported me is by, again, enriching the community and demonstrating and having people enjoy theater and really realize the benefit and the essential nature of performance art and theater, which benefits us all. We've been in a pandemic for over a year, obviously, and people are truly craving live, in-person theater. And so I think out of all times, now is why it's so critical to donate, whether it's time, money, effort, with ETP, because we are, I think, on the cusp. We have a light at the end of the tunnel where we are going to start seeing more in-person theater, and I think having that financial backing is especially important in this day and age. So please give to ETP to whatever extent you can. Thank you.
Honestly, Rich was our Jekyll in Jekyll and Hyde, and he is such a great guy all around, such an awesome guy to work with. And speaking of working with here, I'd like to take a moment to get a little personal here. Not only is Experience Theater Project changing the lives, hopefully, of our audience members, but it's also changing the lives of its actors. I was fortunate enough to meet this lovely woman during the production of Jekyll and Hyde that Experience Theater Project put on. And, you know, honestly, at first we started flirting around and I thought she was cute, and I had seen her in other Experience Theater Project stuff before.
I sold you a glass of wine at Mousetrap.
That's right. That's right. And as I got to know her more, you know, like I thought it was amazing, and I thought she was amazing, and we ended up starting dating during the show, and now, over a year later, we are engaged to be married.
We just bought a house.
We just bought a house. I don't know if you wanted to know that, but we just bought a house. And so
theater brings people together.
It
you
does.
Express yourself, you share yourself, you share your love.
And we shared our passion.
Yeah.
And our passion of theater would not be alive without the generous support of its patrons. And this whole thing, I'll be honest, I know the story of ETP. There have been some rocky times, but your hard work, Alisa's hard work, everybody's hard work, that it's made it possible for this company to be a part of this, including especially one of our best sponsors, Golden Valley Brewing, because we had to do a plug-in right there. Honestly, though, it takes a community to make this happen, and I just wanted to thank.
We're so grateful to have you as a part.
That we're getting married because we were in a show together with Experience Theater Project. We're already up to around almost like $6,500. Let's see if we can get to $7,000. At the end of the day, anything helps. We would take anything, and we are now board members of this because we believe in this project for what it is, and this whole company for what it is. So thank you, everything. And with that, everybody, I would like to introduce the next part of the story of Experience Theater Project, who we both love. Thank you.
The thing about doing immersive theater is that there's not plays written for immersive theater. And my feeling was, I just want to tell a good story that immerses people in our story.
This is where I feel Experience Theater Project really started to find its feet.
The only way to get rid of a temptation is to yield to it. Resist it, and your soul grows sick with longing for the things which it has forbidden to itself.
I do not think I will show it at all. There is too much of myself in it.
Definitely spent a good chunk of the spring or the summer and the fall making Dorian Gray.
So we were able to expand and create a bit of a labyrinth to guide the audience.
Tyler Buswell did an amazing original set design that just wowed people, and it worked. I want to thank Jessa Lowe for makeup design and hair. She was backstage every day doing everybody's makeup and hair, making them age during the course of the show. Didn't complain once, just went in and did an amazing job. We had our show that was well lit and beautifully acted.
The character of Dorian needs to be both innocent and sophisticated because they need to make that progression into the depths of their soul, and you need to feel their fall from grace.
When I was adapting the show, I always thought Dorian was going to be a male character. Everything changed when I saw Catherine Grant Suttie. She had a magic about her that my jaw dropped. Like, that's Dorian Gray, and I had no idea.
Magic.
And so the whole show was really cast around Catherine.
Hello, Experience Theater Project patrons and fans. My name's Catherine Grant Suttie. I've been an actor on a couple of projects with this lovely crew. For the past year, I have been mostly in here doing voiceover on the occasion when I am out there doing virtual theater for No Exit. So, Alisa asked to provide some special skills, and I've had this song kind of on my mind all year, and I really wanted to share it. And I don't sing that often, traumatic musical theater experiences, but so that's my caveat. Bear with me. Thanks, guys.
For those who suffer long, but how I weep for those who've gone into rooms of grief and questioned wrong, but keep on killing. It's in the soul to feel such things, but weak to watch without speaking. Sadness brings, if God be willing. There is a train that's headed straight to heaven's gate, and on the way, child and man and woman wait, watch and wait for redemption day. Fire rages in the streets and swallows everything it meets. It's just an image often seen on television. welcome you, men of great. Let us hear you pontificate. Your many virtues laid to waste, and we are listening. What do you have for us today? Throw us a bone, but save the plate. On why you waited till so late. Was there no oil to excavate? No riches in trade for the fate of every person who died in hate? Throw us a bone, you men of great. There is a train that's headed straight to heaven's gate, heaven's gate. And on the way, child and man and woman wait, watch and wait for redemption day. It's buried in the countryside, exploding in the shells at night. It's everywhere a baby cries. Freedom, 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 freedom,
Hello, my name is Diana Loverso, and I'm here to support Experience Theater Project's fundraiser for their Westside Shakespeare Festival coming this summer. I had the pleasure of performing with Experience Theater Project in the immersive production of The Picture of Dorian Gray, as well as their gala fundraiser, The Witching Hour. Both of those experiences were very enjoyable and satisfying for me, and I know the audience has enjoyed them as well. I'd like to share with you an excerpt from The Picture of Dorian Gray, in which my character, the Duchess of Monmouth, explains what she knows about Dorian Gray's family background. Well, his mother was Lady Margaret Devereux, Lord Kelso's daughter. Lady Margaret made all the men frantic by running away with a penniless young fellow, a nobody, a subaltern in the foot regiment or something. Poor chap was killed in a duel a few months after the marriage. There was an ugly story about it. They said Lord Kelso found some rascally adventurer from one of those dockside opium dens of some Belgian brute to insult his son-in-law in public. Paid him to do it. Paid him. Well, they dueled and the Belgian won. Dorian's father was shot right through the neck, right in front of Lady Margaret, who tried to stop the fight. Lady Margaret found herself with child a few weeks later and never spoke to her father again. It was a bad business. She died giving birth to Dorian. Poor girl. Poor boy, too. Lord Kelso blamed himself for the whole thing. He was afraid something would happen to Dorian, so he always kept him locked inside that old drafty apartment, locked him up like the little bird. Nobody ever saw little Dorian. Lord Kelso's servants homeschooled him, and now the Kelso fortune is his. That poor boy's been through a lot. Experience Theatre Project appreciates any contribution you can make. And we hope to see you at the Westside Shakespeare Festival this July. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Alana Wight. I'm a costume designer and I worked with Experience Theatre Project on the picture of Dorian Gray and No Exit. What I love most about working with Experience Theatre Project is the passion. It's infectious and it fosters a really creative and welcoming environment for both the cast and the crew. And I think it's also evident when the audience sees a production that it's made by people who truly love what they're doing and want to share it with as many people as possible.
Well, thank you for joining us here tonight. We have raised over $6,000 towards our goal of $10,000. So there's still time. We still need. Recently saw her playing guitar. She's currently running tech for the show from her own home. She's a grant writer for ETP. She has costumed for ETP. She's designed sound for ETP and lights. And, you know, I wonder what she's doing right now.
Is there anything she can't do?
Maybe
Let's find out.
Take the feed over to her.
Oh, hey guys, just doing a little bit of adaptation for our next show. We're really looking forward to it, drawing some pictures. I work best with pictures, I find, when I'm doing adaptations, you know, trying to get kind of like the world of the show first, and then I take the most evident parts and the most memorable scenes and distill them all down. But this year we're doing it slightly different. We're not making a rote adaptation of The Great Gatsby, but we are doing something very special that is, let's say, a different point of view, because our show is called Great Gatsby's Daisy, because there are two sides to every story. Exciting stuff. We're going to have a first read through this summer and then workshop it, and then it's going to come to you live in 2022. We're really excited about it. I hope you can join us. That's part of the reason why we're doing this, of course, is to get support for these kinds of innovative programs and new adaptations of classic works. I mean, we just love classic stories, classic literature, and what better way to celebrate classic literature is to put you right into the story and give you that experience that we love to create for you. So if you could please give us a donation today, we'd sure appreciate it as much as you're able to afford. And let your friends know this is the stuff that we're doing. We're going to bring it to you live, and you can be in it and feel it and smell it and hear it, and the singing and the dancing and the, you know, who doesn't love the 20s? We're in the 20s. Let's bring back the 20s, right? See you guys later. I got to get back to work.
of this fair proportion. Deformed, unfinished. Now, is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this sun of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried? Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern larums changed to merry meetings, our dreadful courses to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fight the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber, to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking-glass, I that am rudely stamped, and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I that am curtailed of this fair proportion, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world, scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why, I, in this weak piping time of peace, have I no delight to pass by the time. Except to spy my shadow in the sun and descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover, to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain, and hate the idle pleasures of these days.
So what could we do now? Well, the only thing that we could really do is make the summer show more immersive. But how do you do that with an outdoor show?
Coming into the summer of 2019, Alisa came to me with a vision for a festival.
So I thought, well, what if we make a festival around the show, and now the play is being watched in that time frame. So what if we had a festival and call it the Westside Shakespeare Festival? Invite all of these vendors that sold things that maybe you could find in 1594. Invite food and drink vendors, and have a pub in the center, and really make it a festive atmosphere with actors and performers all day, and singers and music.
Hey!
A foolish thing was but a toy for the rain, it rained every day.
I was pretty jazzed at the opportunity to be on the ground floor of creating a festival in Beaverton. I ran around that festival engaging all the patrons in Shakespearean shenanigans. It was so well received by the community. People would wander in off the street and just happen to stumble upon our event and be overcome with awe at the culture, the the music, the actors. It's a full festival right in the heart of Beaverton.
We had a Queen's Feast where we had the Queen Elizabeth come out and sit, and we had a madrigal and a big feast. That was very much of 1594. It was a huge undertaking, and it was so much fun, yet we're like, yeah, I think we need to do this again.
Oh yes, once again a fine morning to you, my good lady. We're outside the Beaverton Library with folks from the Westside Shakespeare Festival. I thank you very much, my lady. I'm going to introduce Alisa. She is with the Experience Theater Project. Now, you guys have done a number of like these free kind of Shakespeare performances throughout the Beaverton area, but you've kind of amped it up. It's a full-on festival.
And then at the end of the day, you go and watch this brand new play by this bloke, William Shakespeare. And you're watching the Comedy of Errors in the time frame kind of within it that now makes the play a little more immersive. The Comedy of Errors was a lot of fun. It was a slapstick comedy that featured a great cast. They were so funny, and they also took the show to different wineries in Washington and Yamhill counties, and we had a lot of fun doing those.
Western Belgium, the Netherlands.
Oh, sir, I did not look so low.
To conclude, this drudge or diviner laid claim to me.
The Witching Hour. That was a funny one. That's our take on a slapstick Halloween horror fest.
We had a collection of witches that were there in a talk show atmosphere, and in the course of being interviewed and showing off their powers, they were able to display their magic. And we had yet again another audience plant that came up. He would take them over and make fools of themselves. We had sold out those shows as well, and really solidified our fall event as being a permanent part of Experience Theater Project.
Hi, my name is Jenna V. Meister, and I played Angelo in the 2019 production of Comedy of Errors. And the one thing that I really appreciate about Experience Theater Project from that experience was meeting so many close friends, and friends that I still have contact with today.
And I'm Adam John Roper. I was also in the 2019 Comedy of Errors. I played Balthazar and Dr. Pinch. A positive experience for me was being able to be outside in the glorious Oregon summer and still get to do theater at the same time. I think it's a really special experience to be able to do both those things at once.
Adam and I will be performing, what's the song called?
Unsuspecting Hearts.
Adam and I will be performing Unsuspecting Hearts from Carrie the Musical.
So many years you face the world alone, frightened that life might pass you by. Then he appears, someone who smiles at you. This is no time to question why. Love can't find you when you least expect. Funny how two lives connect. That's how it starts. Two unsuspecting hearts.
Let yourself go. Give someone half a chance. Maybe he's waiting just for you. You never know. This could be paradise. Maybe your dream just might come true. And you never know how things might go. Once you share your first hello, that's how it starts. Two unsuspecting hearts.
In a world where nothing's sure and nothing is ever guaranteed, you should trust the way you feel. That's the only thing that's real. It's like magic how your spirit soars. Once you feel his hand in yours, that's how it starts. To unsuspecting
In a world where nothing's sure and nothing's ever guaranteed,
nothing's
you should trust the way you feel. That's the only thing that's real. It's like magic how your spirit soars. Once you feel his hand in yours,
that's how it starts.
to unsuspecting hearts.
Hello, my name is Chris Heller, and I'm going to be singing Poisoning Pigeons in the Park by Tom Layer. Spring is here, suffering is here. Life is Skittles and life is beer. I think the loveliest time of the year is the spring. I do, don't you? Of course you do. But there's one thing that makes spring complete for me, and makes every Sunday a treat for me. Oh, the world seems in tune on a spring afternoon when we're poisoning pigeons in the park. Every Sunday you'll see my sweetheart and me when we're poisoning pigeons in the park. When they see us coming, the birdies all try and hide, but they still go for peanuts when coated with cyanide. Oh, the sun shining bright, everything seems alright as we're poisoning pigeons in the park. We made notoriety and caused much anxiety in the Audubon Society with our games. They called us impiety and lack of propriety and quite a variety of unpleasant names. But it's not against any religion to want to dispose of a pigeon. So if Sunday you're free, why don't you come with me and we'll poison the pigeons in the park. And maybe we'll do in a squirrel or two when we poison the pigeons in the park. We'll murder them all mid laughter and merriment, except for the few we take home to experiment. My pulse will be quickening with each drop of strychnine when we poison the pigeons. It just takes a smidgen to poison the pigeons in the park. Thank you.
And we are back with Experience Theater Project's Spring Fundraiser, and congratulations to our next mystery bag prize winner, Sierra Hicks. Thank you so much for donating. And we are also here with Jason Weed, who is helping us out with tech, but who also works for our sponsor today, and that is
Golden Valley Brewing here in Beaverton, Oregon.
Now, Jason, how long have you been working for Golden Valley?
About 5 years.
5 years. And would we have the honor of having this company as our sponsor without you?
Well, the way this story started was Alisa was doing Midsummer, and they did their first show reading here upstairs.
Oh.
And Alex Kircher, the general manager, said, "Hey, they're theater people. I want you to go deal with them." I said, "Sure." And at that point, we made connection, and then we kept working together.
Well, fantastic. Yeah. Speaking of which,
Jason was in our first autumn fundraiser, the Gothic Horror Stories. He was our Bram Stoker.
And then at Witching Hour and at Rise of Houdini, I was Tony the bartender.
Tony the bartender.
Tony.
And through so many of these events, Golden Valley has been our very generous sponsor.
Yes, and speaking of Golden Valley, how are they doing in all this, if I may?
I mean, all restaurants are real struggling right now, and they could use some business. Come on down. The patio's open.
Oh, the patio's
patio
beautiful.
Great. Come in, have some food. We raise
They've got
our own
live
beef.
music every Saturday.
We grow our own vegetables. This is a local company. This is the kind of thing that we as Portlanders tend to support. This is a brewery that's been around since '93 and has been producing quality food and beer in this area for a while.
Hold on. So we have a local company that makes IPAs and supports the arts. What more could you want, Portland?
That's a
Come
triple
on
threat.
to Golden Valley Brewing. I'm not kidding. Jason, thank you so much. Is there any other closing notes you'd like to say about Golden Valley tonight?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope, not at all. Support your local arts, support your local restaurants.
That's it. And speaking of which, we are all trying to make a huge comeback. All of us, from our restaurants to our arts organizations.
Stimulus rolling. I know I could turn some of my stimmy into that golden blonde beer.
And I'm going to as well because I'm on the board and we did a matching thing earlier today, but that doesn't mean that we're going to stop here. Well, at least that doesn't mean that you're going to stop here. So please continue to support us.
Help
we are
us get
so
that
close.
goal of $10,000.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer. Thank you so much.
Let's learn more of our story of ETP.
The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Our second full adaptation. Man, what a show. Lisa had a vision of the Wild West.
When I started working on the adaptation, I realized very quickly that we needed to add more to it than just be a basic another show that takes place in Victorian England, and yet another take on English and the Brits and the way they are. It's like, well, if we move this to a more American setting, what would that be? And that would be the Wild West. During this process, I wanted to involve the BIPOC community in some way, shape, or form, and I wasn't about to cast them in any role other than one of authority.
This is good, Carol. If you gonna be good to my girl, you gonna start by quitting this drinking. And if you the kind of man that you say you are, you'll start by remembering the kind of man God wants you to be. That means knowing the right time to preach and the right time to be silent.
Really great set built by Meyer. It was incredible. He actually built most of that in my garage. People could walk right into the saloon and the set itself opened up like a book. Our lighting designer, Des McCormick, did a whole bunch of lanterns that really worked really well with the set. The story, it was beautiful. The actors were fantastic. I couldn't have asked for a better group of people.
In the spring of 2020, I was working on producing Merry Wives of Windsor. And COVID hit.
COVID shut everything down and we were in a holding pattern. Every day we were wondering, well, do we cancel our summer show? How long is this going to last? My mind went to, we're an innovative theater company. We are an experience theater project. We need to create an experience. We need to create something innovative here. So I immediately said to the board, you know what we ought to do? We ought to create a show and do it online. I wanted to create a virtual reality that you could watch this show and these actors would be interacting, but they're not really in the same space. We're a live theater company. We're going to do a live show. So we put it out there and did the marketing. We're going to do a live stream. People started taking notice. A lot of theater companies nationally were asking me to send them information about how you're doing this. And of course, we decided, well, why not try it again? I suggested that we do Jean-Paul Sartre's No Exit because that felt like what we were at the time in COVID. We decided at that point that we wanted to keep actors acting. We wanted to keep performers performing. Decided to create a salon a monthly salon that we could feature artists that could perform, but still, again, we wanted to keep that immersive quality to it. So you would essentially go to the website, click on a door, and the door would open and would bring you to the performer who was performing in front of you. And then we decided to do another edition where it was a circus theme, the Cirque Noir Moderne. Bang out one that has always been our October show. We did the Tower of Terror. For our Tower of Terror, our featured show was A Haunting, where we actually did a movie, a choose your own adventure style movie that people can still watch and enjoy, and essentially following a ghost hunting team into a haunted house. We were doing this because we were trying to innovate in the space that we were performing.
Hi everyone, my name's Alex Meyer. I am a scenic designer here in the Portland area, and I was able to collaborate with Experience Theater Project last winter during their show, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I here just wanted to give a shout out to Alisa and to her company. I think that Experience Theater Project contributes so much to the performing arts scene in the Beaverton area, and I think that Alisa is admirable with her dedication to her work and to the company. I think that she brought on a number of outstanding collaborators for that show, whom I had the pleasure of working alongside. So please join me in celebrating the work of Experience Theater Project, and we're looking forward to seeing what you do next.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Thank y'all for tapping in wherever you are tapping in from for this fundraiser. My name is Erik Island. I'm a resident here in Portland. I'm also an actor, and I had the pleasure of playing the cantankerous but loving Sheriff Hasty Lanyon in The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde with Experience Theater Project. I remember when I first heard about the auditions, I had just finished a run on another show, and I was just looking for something to do, and I remember Googling, and I saw these auditions. I said, hey, I'll go try. I know the story of Jekyll and Hyde. If I get it, this will be something fun to do. I didn't have no idea what I was getting myself into. But from the very beginning of the audition, Miss Alisa and the whole team was very open and receptive, very good energy, good vibes. The audition was fun. We all got to play a lot of multiple characters and just play with the whole concept. What really intrigued me about doing the show is after, conversating and understanding the premise of it, was being able to kind of break that third wall. A lot of actors, were kind of told not to break that third wall. We're up on this stage and we're kind of away from the audience telling this story. But what was intriguing about this piece was that we had this interaction with the audience, and the audience actually got to be a part of the show, and we interact and do our scenes throughout this whole Brannock city. And so the other thing that really intrigued me about it was that Alisa was willing to put a black family in the midst of this story, and I think that's very important because we know that our history is throughout the tapestry of American history, but sometimes our stories get lost. And so just being able to put this family in the midst of this story was, it was everything to me, you know what I'm saying? So I really enjoyed it. I had a blast. I wish I could do it again. I'm hoping that we get a chance to work together again. But we're here for a fundraiser, trying to raise money for the Shakespeare Festival. And, I just want to come and lend my talents to best that I could. But I really enjoyed my time with Experience Theater. Anybody that's, want to sharpen up your acting skills, definitely come and audition and be a part of one of their productions. You'll have a blast. The piece that I'm going to share with you guys is one of my favorite plays from August Wilson called Fences. I'm going to be playing the role of Troy, and we're going to go through a scene inside of this play. You guys are probably familiar with it, but I hope you enjoy it. Again, thank you for having me, Sheriff Hasty Lanyon. So you guys sit back, relax, and hopefully you enjoy. Thank you. You the one brought it up, Rose. Me and Bono was talking about baseball. Ain't that right, Bono? Look here, Bono. I look up one day and death was marching straight at me. Like soldiers in a parade. The army of death, marching straight for me. It was the middle of July, 1941. And it got real cold, just like it be winter. And it seemed like death himself reached down and touched me on my shoulder. He touched me like I touched you. And I got cold as ice. Death standing there, grinning at me. I say, what you want, Mr. Death? You be wanting me? You done brought your army to be getting me? I looked him dead in his eye. I wasn't fearing nothing. I was ready to tangle. Just like I'm ready to tangle now. Shoot, the Bible say be ever vigilant. That's why I don't get so drunk. I gotta keep watch. But Death, standing there, staring at me, carrying that sickle in his hand. Finally he say, you won't bound over for another year. See, just like that. You won't bound over for another year. I said bound over hell, let's settle this down. Seemed like he kind of fell back when I said that. And see how the cold went out of me. And I reached down and I grabbed that sickle and I threw it as far as I could throw it. And me and him, we commenced to wrestling. Now I can't tell you where I got the strength from, because every time it seemed like he was about to get the best of me, I reach way down deep inside myself and find the strength to do him one better. And I ain't making up nothing, bros. I'm telling you the facts of what happened. I wrestled with death for 3 days and 3 nights, and I'm standing here to tell you about it. I'm telling you. Thank you all. Now donate some money.
Hiya everybody, Jeffrey Kaufman here. I'm sitting in the backyard of our new house and the bird song here is pretty phenomenal. Listen. Anyway, because we're so overwhelmed with this move, I'm not going to play piano, which might be a blessing in disguise. But I'm here to give a shout out to Experience Theater Project. I was the saloon pianist in Jekyll and Hyde, and it was either one of my last or maybe even my last pre-COVID gig, so it's kind of in that before time, as I call it. But it was an amazing production. The physical production just in and of itself was kind of mind-blowing, but it was a really fun experience for me. We did have one hilarious night that was like out of a horror movie itself, where literally hordes of ants came out of the piano and started crawling all over me. And then the piano did its own Jekyll and Hyde transformation and started making all these bizarre noises, so that's also a fun memory I have. I do want to say, I think there was one major missed opportunity. My character's name was Sam, even though nobody ever asked me to play it again. But one of the many characters Erik Montague played was an asshole named Jeffrey, and it seems to me they already had somebody perfectly qualified for that role. So here's to a better 2021. See ya.
Well, honor is the subject of my story. I cannot tell what you and other men think of this life. But for my single self, I'd as lief not be as live to be in awe of such a thing as I myself. I was born free as Caesar, so were you. We both had fed as well, and we both can endure the winter's cold as well as he. For once upon a raw and gusty day, the trouble-timer chafing with her shores, Caesar said to me, "Darest thou, Cassius, now, leap in with me into this angry flood and swim to yonder point?" Upon the word, accoutred as I was, I plunged in and bade him follow. So indeed he did. The torrent roared, and we did buffet it with lusty sinews, throwing it aside and stemming it with hearts of controversy. But ere could we reach the point proposed, Caesar cried, "Help me, Cassius, or I sink." I, as Aeneas, our great ancestor, did from the flames of Troy the old Anchises spare, so from the waves of Tiber did I, the tired Caesar. And this man has now become a god, and Cassius a wretched creature who must bend his body if Caesar but carelessly nod at him? He had a fever when he was in Spain, and when the fit was on him, I did mark how he did shake. 'Tis true, this god did shake. His coward lips did in the colors fly, and that eye of his, whose bend doth awe the world, did lose his luster. I did hear him groan, aye, and that voice of his that bade the Romans mark him and write his speeches in their books. Alas, it cried, give me a drink, Titinius, as a sick girl. It doth amaze me that a man of such feeble temper should so get the start of the majestic world and bear the palm alone.
Thank you, Matt, for that beautiful performance. And thank you all of our performers tonight. We have seen a cavalcade of talent.
Yes. And also we've seen a cavalcade of donations. Carl Satak, oh my gosh, professor there. He gave over like
stay open until we reach our goal of $10,000. But I have to say goodbye from here live at Golden Valley. Thank you to Golden Valley Brewery here in Beaverton, Oregon, supporting the arts, supporting Experience Theater Project. Thank you to all of our generous donors. Thank you to our performers. Thank you to Jason Weed on tech, Ryan Pfeiffer on social media. Thank you to our VIPs joining us here live today. And thank you to all of you.
And yes, and here are our final performers for the evening.
Enjoy.
Why are you thus out of measure sad?
There's no measure in the occasion that grieves, therefore the sadness is without limit.
You should hear reason.
Oh, and when I've heard it, what blessing brings it?
If not a present remedy, at least a patient sufferance.
I cannot hide what I am. I must be sad when I have cause, and smile at no man's jests. Eat when I have stomach, and wait on no man's leisure. Sleep when I am drowsy, and tend on no man's business. Laugh when I am merry, and claw no man in his humor.
Yes, but you must not make the full show of this till you may do it without controlment. You have of late stood out against your brother, and he hath taken you newly into his grace, where it is impossible you should take true root, but by the fair weather that you make yourself, it is needful that you frame the season for your own harvest.
I'd rather be a canker in a hedge than a rose in his grace, and it better fits my blood to be disdained by all, rather than to fashion a carriage to rob love from any. And this cannot be said that I'm a flattering, honest man. It must not be denied that I'm a plain dealing villain. I have been trusted with a muzzle. Therefore, I have decreed not to sing in my cage. At a mouth, I would bite. At my liberty, I would do my liking. In the meantime, seek not to alter me, and let me be that I am.
Can you make no use of your discontent?
Oh, I make all use of it, for I use it only. Who comes there? What news, Baraccia?
Your brother is royalty entertained by the commoner Leonardo, and I can give you intelligence of an intended marriage.
Ah, will it serve for any model to build mischief on?
Mary, it is your brother's right hand.
And who? The most exquisite Lieutenant Claudio.
Even he.
A proper squire. And who? Which way looks he?
Mary on Hero, the daughter of heir of Leonardo.
How came you to this?
I heard it agreed upon that brother should woo Hero for himself, and having obtained her, give her to Claudio.
Come. Let's go. This may prove food to my displeasure. That young startup hath all the glory of my overthrow. If I can cross him in any way, I bless myself every way. Your bow sure and will assist me?
To the death.
That is to the great supper. Their cheer is the greater that I am suited.
We'll wait upon you, sir.
This is called How You Touched Me. I held your hand and thought about how much it meant to me. It was a huge hand, the hand of a big man. But not the hand of a fighter or a laborer. Though 6'3", you were never a physical scrapper, and those strong hands were not used for dirty, heavy work. You moved a lot of pianos, which is delicate heavy work, deft and clean. And over the years I saw those hands wield axes and wedges over stacks of firewood and carry it into our various stove-heated homes. But your hands were fleshy and soft, the fingers long for caressing guitar strings, bass vials, and piano keys. I grew up hearing you labor repeatedly through difficult passages of Chopin and Liszt. One of my brothers and I laughed that years later we would buy recordings of those pieces because we missed them, and, hearing the speed and fluency of those renditions, think, so that's what it's supposed to sound like. Your few concert recitals were arduous affairs. You were uncomfortable in the spotlight, tense, and your fingers often stumbled. It was work to perform that way, no matter how much you loved the music, and it sounded like it. But when you accompanied someone, and the spotlight had shifted, and you could concentrate on supporting a fine singer or clarinetist, you were wonderful, sensitive, responsive, and never intrusive. And when you entertained informally in restaurants and melodrama theater, that's when you were truly in your element. Bringing people in and releasing their joy was your gift, not striving for cool artistic perfection. Those hands caressed me and my brothers as much as the piano. You loved to give me back rubs, and once I became a distance runner, leg massages. It was a good chance to talk. And I loved those powerful but soft hands on my shoulders where I store my tensions. I know your father was not a warm or physically demonstrative man. When I was born, he noted my long fingers and joked, well, he's either going to be a pianist or a pickpocket. And I sure hope he's a pickpocket, because I don't want him to starve. I wonder if he was aware of the put-down in that. Sometimes I think you set out by force of will to be a different kind of father, that you made yourself hold your sons, crawl around on the floor with us, insist on lots of hugs. But it became natural for you, or maybe it always had been. I can still feel your fingers dance on my back. When you held me, your fingertips would jump lightly, forever practicing scales or some unattainable passage of a Beethoven sonata. I asked you about it once. You were utterly unaware of it. But I loved the sensation. It was as if you played music everywhere and were just then pressing some into me. So as I stood holding one of your hands, still big and fleshy, but now unresponsive, and looked down at the wreck of your body, smashed patella, cracked ribs, punctured lung, fractured jaw, a cracked cervical vertebra, they said, and a cranial dome packed with broken synapses. I kept seeing your head float toward the pavement in that last instant after a drunk driver pulled out in front of your motorcycle, thinking that my weak, delicate hands could somehow reach out and catch that head before it hit the asphalt, and all those memories, all that talent, all that joy winked out, as if the power blew in an office building and plunged it into darkness, or a great chandelier silently shattered into 1,000 fragments. And I told myself, this was the last time I would hold your hands, and I would miss them terribly.
Ah, hello. You've dropped in. What a lovely surprise. Good to see you. I'm just now starting in with a bit of reading here at Paul's Reading Parlor. We're going to dive into Jeeves by P.G. Wodehouse. Doesn't that sound delightful? Would you like to join me? I have my tea here. Isn't that delightful? And oh, look, there's another cup and a lovely chair right there, almost as if you were expected. Won't you make yourself comfortable? There we are. Settle in. Very good. Now then, Chapter 1. Jeeves exerts the old cerebellum. Morning, Jeeves, I said. Good morning, sir, said Jeeves. He put the good old cup of tea softly on the table by my bed, and I took a refreshing sip. Just right, as usual. Not too hot, not too sweet, not too weak, not too strong, not too much milk, and not a drop spilled in the saucer. A most amazing cove, Jeeves. So dashed competent in every respect. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I mean to say, take just one small instance. Every other valet I've ever had used to barge into my room in the morning while I was still asleep, causing much misery. But Jeeves seems to know when I'm awake by a sort of telepathy. He always floats in with the cup, exactly 2 minutes after I've come to life. Makes a deuce of a lot of difference to a fellow's day. How's the weather, Jeeves? Exceptionally clement, sir. Anything in the papers? Some slight friction threatening in the Balkans, sir. Otherwise, nothing. I say, Jeeves, I met a man at the club last night. Told me to put my shirt on privateer for the 2 o'clock race this afternoon. How about it? I should not advocate it, sir. The stable is not sanguine. Well, that was enough for me. Jeeves knows. How, I couldn't say, but he knows. There was a time when I would laugh lightly and go ahead and lose my little all against his advice, but not now. Talking of shirts, I said, have those mauve ones I ordered arrived yet? Yes, sir. I sent them back. You sent them back? Yes, sir. They would not have become you. Well, I must say, I'd thought fairly highly of those shirtings, but I bow to superior knowledge. Weak? I don't know. Most fellows, no doubt, are all for having their valets confine their activities to creasing trousers and what-not, without trying to run the home. But it's different with Jeeves. Right from the first day he came to me, I have looked on him as a sort of guide, philosopher, and friend. Mr. Little rang up on the telephone a few moments ago, sir. I informed him that you were not yet awake. Did he leave a message? No, sir. He mentioned that he had a matter of importance to discuss with you, but confided no details. Oh, well, I expect I shall be seeing him at the club. No doubt, sir. I wasn't what you might call in a fever of impatience. Bingo Little is a chap I was at school with, and we see a lot of each other still. He's the nephew of old Mortimer Little, who retired from business recently with a goodish pile. You've probably heard of Little's liniments. It limbers up the legs. Bingo buffs about Linden on a pretty comfortable allowance given him by his uncle, and leads on the whole a fairly unclouded life. It wasn't likely that anything which he described as a matter of importance would turn out to be really so frightfully important. I took it that what he discovered was some new brand of cigarette which he wanted me to try, or something like that, and didn't spoil my breakfast by worrying. After breakfast, I lit a cigarette and went to the open window to inspect the day. It certainly was one of the best and brightest. Jeeves, I said. Sir, said Jeeves. He had been clearing away the breakfast things, but at the sound of the young master's voice he cheesed it courteously. You were absolutely right about the weather. It is a juicy morning. Decidedly, sir. Spring and all that. Yes, sir. In the spring, Jeeves, a livelier iris gleams upon the burnished dove. So I have been informed, sir. Right-ho, then bring me my whangy, my yellowest shoes, and the old green Homburg. I'm going to the park to do pastoral dances. I don't know if you know that sort of feeling you get on these days, round about the end of April, and at the beginning of May, when the skies are light blue with cotton wool clouds, and there's a bit of breeze blowing, from the west. Kind of an uplifted feeling. Romantic, if you know what I mean. I'm not much of a ladies' man, but on this particular morning it seemed to me what I really wanted was some charming girl to buzz up and ask me to save her from assassins or something. So that it was a bit of an anticlimax when I merely ran into young Bingo Little, looking perfectly foul in a crimson satin tie decorated with horseshoes. "Hello, Bertie," said Bingo. "My God, man," I gargled. "The cravat! The gent's neckwear! Why? For what reason?" "Oh, the tie," he blushed. I was given it." He seemed embarrassed, so I dropped the subject. We toddled along a bit and sat down on a couple of chairs by the Serpentine. "Jeeves tells me you want to talk to me about something," I said. "Eh?" said Bingo with a start. Oh, yes. Yes. I waited for him to unleash the topic of the day, but he didn't seem to want to get going. Conversation languished. He stared straight ahead of him in a glassy sort of manner. "I say, Bertie," he said, after a pause of about an hour and a quarter. "Hello! Do you all like the name Mabel?" "No." "No?" "No." "You don't think there's a kind of music in the word, like the wind rustling gently through the treetops?" "No." He seemed disappointed for a moment, and then cheered up. "Well, of course you wouldn't. You always were a fat-headed worm without any soul, weren't you?" Yes, just as you say." Who is she? Tell all." For I realized now that poor old Bingo was going through it once again. Ever since I've known him and we were at school together, he has been perpetually falling in love with someone, generally in the spring, which seems to act on him like magic. At school he had the finest collection of actresses' photographs of anyone in his time, and at Oxford his romantic nature was a byword. Well, there we are. I see we've done just about enough for now. I think it may be time to toddle off. My tea is cold, my warm bed is calling, and I think you've probably had enough of me for now. I do thank you for dropping in. It was a lovely surprise, and I do hope we'll see you again. Thank you so much. I do hope you'll return to Paul's reading parlour. Have a lovely evening. Ta-ta.